Hello everyone, welcome to my lecture. Myself Niren Dotto. Today I am going to start a topic of the first chapter of class 12 mathematics, relation and function. The topic is composition of two functions. Okay, composition of function. Composition of functions. Composition of function means what? Generally, generally it is known to us whenever we have any operation between two numbers, then the result will be a number once again. And if we have any operation between two sets, maybe union operation, maybe intersection, whatever it may be, then the result will be set once again. Just like as all this, that means আমি number মাজত operation কৰিলে যেনেকৈ number পাওঁ, sets মাজত operation কৰিলে set পাওঁ. In this way, whenever have any operation between two functions, then the result will be a function one again. Maybe the operation may be addition of two functions, maybe difference of two functions, maybe multiplication of two functions, or maybe division of two functions. All those cases, the resultant will be a function. Now here in this case, composition of two functions means we are going to compose two functions. Two different functions will be given to us and we are going to compose these functions. That means composition is nothing but an operation between two functions. And already I have told that whenever I have any operation between two functions, it will form a new function. Just like as composition of function itself is a function. Okay, but remember some conditions or criteria should be satisfied by the two functions to have the composition. Just like as that means without having any some property, we cannot add any two numbers. I mean, two number monthly add koribo নোৱাৰো. Just like as 2 plus x. 2 plus x, we does not have any idea about the result. But remember that some criteria should be satisfied, some steps should be required, some conditions should be fulfilled by these two functions to have the composition. আমি দুটা ফাংশন কম্পোজ কৰিবলৈ হলে তাহাতে কিছুমান ক্ৰাইটেৰিয়া বা কন্ডিশন স্যাটিসফাই কৰাটো জৰুৰী, then and then only you can easily compose the functions. So let's start. How can we compose the functions, or what are the minimum conditions to be required by these two functions to have the composition? So let us consider a function f from a to b. Suppose f is a function from a to b. F is a function, that's why it's a domain set. Because for a function, first set will be considered a domain set and the second set is known as codomain set. We don't have any idea about the range because the range lies inside the codomain set. I mean, a function will be first set to domain set or second set to codomain set. Range key range is the set which contains the related element of the second set. Second set or related element range will go. Already we have discussed about it. Yeah, related element, but what are the elements which are related are we don't have any idea. But remember, range lies inside the codomain. This one must be domain and this one is codomain. Suppose x is an element of the set A. All the elements of the set A are represented by x. That's why x is an element. Suppose the image of x under the function f is f of x. Let us consider. Correct? The image of x under the function f is f of x. Let us consider another function z from b to c. Let us consider that function. Then as z is a function, then this one must be a domain according to the definition of function. Each and every element of the first set should have an image. Function definition মতে প্ৰত্যেকটো এলিমেন্টৰ ইমেজ লাগিব। f ৰ যেনেকৈ প্ৰত্যেকটো এলিমেন্টৰ ইমেজ আছে, মই প্ৰত্যেকটো এলিমেন্ট ৰিপ্ৰেজেন্ট কৰিবৰ কাৰণে x নামৰ সিম্বলটো ইউজ কৰিছো। Each and every element have image. So x ৰ ইমেজটো কিমান বুলি কনসিডাৰ কৰিছো? f of x. As z is a function, that's why this one is a domain set and this one is a codomain set. So according to the definition of function, every element of the domain set should have every element of the first set should have an image. তাহলে ইয়াত থকা প্ৰত্যেকটো এলিমেন্টৰ ইমেজ লাগিব। x or যেনেকৈ ইমেজটো আমি f of x বুলি কৈছো under f, f for under ইয়াৰ ইমেজ f of x, তেনেহলে what is the image of f of x under z? z under ইয়াৰ ইমেজ কিমান হ'ব? so x or ইমেজ যদি f of x হয়, f for under, তেতিয়াহলে z ইমেজ কিমান হ'ব ইয়াৰ under z of এটো আমি x ৰ বিহেভ কৰিব z of f of x. am I correct? obviously তাৰমানে মই যদি y বুলি কনসিডাৰ কৰো তেতিয়াহলে z under ইয়াৰ ইমেজ কিমান হ'ব? z of y. is it clear? Image of y, z of y. But here in place of y, what is there? f of x. That's why in place of y I have written f of x. This is the representation. Correct? So in this way we have to write down. Now we have considered two different functions, f from a to b and g from b to c. Remember, দুটা ফাংশন কম্পোজ কৰিবলৈ f to a পৰা b লৈ যদি ডিফাইন হয়, then g should define from b to c, b to the other function. Then and then only we can think about the composition of these two. এই দুটা ফাংশনৰ composition বিচাৰ কৰিব পাৰি. Then the composition of these two functions is defined from a to c. a পৰা c লৈ যিটো ফাংশন ডিফাইন কৰা যাব, it will be known as g not f. This one is known as composition of these two functions, which is defined from a to c. Already I have told that composition of two functions is again a function. That means g not f is a function. For a function, there should be a domain as well as codomain. Am I correct? So what is the domain for g not f? The domain of g not f is a. And what is codomain? C is the codomain. So that means remember that the composition, the domain of any composition of two functions, দুটা ফাংশনৰ compositioner যিটো domain হয়, সেইটো first function to domain to নহয়. That means domain of the first function to domain, সেইটো composition to domain হয়. And the codomain of the second functioner যিটো codomain হয়, সেইটো composition to codomain নহয় নে? Obviously. That means now you have to think properly. Whenever any composition of representation will be like that, g not f, remember f will represent the first. That means the term which lies on the right will represent the first function, and the term which lies on the left side, it will represent the second function. Suppose r not t. Which one is the first function? T is the first function and r is the second function. Suppose h not k. Which one is the first function? K is the first function and h is the second function. What is the domain of h not k? Obviously it is a composition of two functions, itself is a function. Then what is the domain of this function? এটা composition function domain to কি হয়? তোমালোকে ক'ব লাগিব যে ইয়াৰ যিটো ফাৰ্স্ট ফাংশন ন, তাৰ ডোমেইনটো এন্টাৰ ডোমেইন। যেনে কিছুমান জি নট এফৰ ডোমেইন কি? এইটো ফাৰ্স্ট ফাংশন কি হয়? f এফৰ ডোমেইনটো এন্টাৰ ডোমেইন নহয় নে? ভালকৈ চোৱা, এফৰ ডোমেইনটো কি লিখিছে? f, ইয়াৰ ডোমেইনটো f হয়। তাৰমানে মই এইটো বুজাব বিচাৰিছো, listen please. f is a function from a to b, am I correct? And z is a function from b to c. Then your composition g not f will define from what? A to c. Composition to a plus c will define what? That means for this function, a is the domain and c is the codomain. Where is range? Range lies inside the codomain always. এখানে চোৱা, what is a? A is the domain of the function f. তাহলে f টো কি হয়? ফার্স্ট ফাংশন আছিল জানো? সো এটা কম্পোজিশনৰ সব কম্পোজিশন ফাংশন এটাৰ ডোমেইনটো কি বুলি ক'লে তুমি কোৱা ফার্স্ট ফাংশন টু ডোমেইন। What is the codomain? Codomain to c. Actually to কাৰ codomain আছিল? ভালকৈ চোৱাচোন, কিলে g codomain নহয় নেকি? সো এখানে ক'বা সেকেন্ড ফাংশন টু codomain টো এই কম্পোজিট ফাংশন টু codomain হয়। তাহলে মই ইয়ালৈ আহিছো, what is the domain? তুমি ক'বা domain of k. k domain টো ইয়াৰ domain হ'ব। What is the codomain then? তুমি ক'বা সেকেন্ড ফাংশন টু codomain. What is the second function? h. h or codomain টো এই কম্পোজিট ফাংশন টু codomain হ'ব লাগিব। ঠিক আছে? সো in this way you have to define. এতিয়া চোৱা, যদি f নর ফাংশনৰ তোমালোকে কেনেকৈ পাইছা? f of x equal to suppose আমি y লিখিছো, এটা ধৰি লৈছো। ইয়াত চোৱা, x or image তোমালোকে f of x পাইছা। Similarly, for this function, for each and every element of the first set should have an image. Function বুলি ক'লে ফার্স্ট সেটৰ প্ৰত্যেকটো এলিমেন্টৰ ইমেজ লাগে। তেতিয়াহ'লে ই যদি এটা ফাংশন হয়, তেতিয়াহ'লে ইয়াত থকা প্ৰত্যেকটো এলিমেন্টৰ ইমেজ লাগিব, obviously লাগিব। Then what is the image of x? তাহলে ইয়াৰ ফার্স্ট এই কম্পোজিট ফাংশনটোৰ ফার্স্ট সেট কোনটো? a। ইয়াত থকা প্ৰত্যেকটো এলিমেন্টৰ আমি ইমেজ বিচাৰিম। So তেতিয়াহ'লে আমি এনেকৈ লিখিম বাৰু g not f of composite function. যদি তোমালোকে দুটা সিম্বল দেখিছা, but remember this is nothing but a composition of two functions. After having that composition, we will have how many functions? Only one function. এই এটা ফাংশনের কনভার্ট হৈছে, দেখিছা নে? তাহলে এই ফাংশনটোৰ আন্ডাৰ এই ডোমেইন এলিমেন্টটো চোৱা, x ৰ ডোমেইন এলিমেন্টৰ ইমেজ ক'লৈ গৈছে? c লৈ গৈছে। তাহলে ইমেজ কিমান দেখিছা? x ৰ ইমেজ f of x ৰ ইমেজ g of x। তাহলে অকল ইয়াৰ ইমেজ কিমান পালা? আমি এইটো বুলি নকওঁ, এই নকওঁ, ফাংশনটো a পৰা c লৈ ডিফাইন হৈছে। তেতিয়াহ'লে ইয়াৰ ইমেজটো হ'ব g of f of x, g of f of x for all x। এই x টো কোন এলিমেন্ট? দিয়া তোমালোকে জানানে বাৰু? এটা জানিব লাগিব। চোৱা, f of x equal to যদি আমি y লিখো, x is the domain element and y is the range element। তাৰ মানে x ৰ ৰিলেটেড এলিমেন্ট টো y, এটো x, এফালে কাৰ লগত ৰিলেটেড হৈ আছে? y লগত। and related element of the second set are known as range elements। second set or related element like range কয় and first set or related element like domain হয়. That means y is related to x. That's why y is range element. That's why always remember, whenever this type of expression we will have, y will be considered as range and x will be considered as a domain element. Eto domain element hoy aru ki element hoy, range element hoy. Eta tomake just compare kora. Ami f or jagat ki likhisu, f or jagat ami eto bostu likhisu. Eto x or jagat same x e boise aru y jagat ki boise this one. That means this is the domain element, am I correct? Tele x নহয় নেকি domain element হয় এটা আৰু এটো কি হয় এই গুটেটো এটো range element হয় ঠিক আছে সো এটা তোমাকে মোক কব লাগে যে domain element হয় তাহলে এটো কাৰ ডোমেইনৰ এই ফাংশনটো ডোমেইন আছে কম্পোজিট ফাংশনৰ ডোমেইন কি হয় তুমি কিবা কম্পোজিট ফাংশনৰ দুটা ফাংশন থাকে এটা ফার্স্ট আৰু এটা সেকেন্ড জিনৰ এক বুলি ফার্স্ট ফাংশন কোনটো আছে f তাহলে f ৰ ডোমেইনটো ইয়াৰ ডোমেইন হ'ব তাহলে x টো কাৰ ডোমেইনৰ পাইছে f ৰ ডোমেইনৰ পৰা what is the domain of f a তাৰ মানে মানকৰ এই x2 কৰ পৰা আছে মানে a পৰা আছে obviously domain of পৰা আছে in this way we can easily compose it two functions this is a basic definition কেলে আমি এনেকে লিখি কৰি জানো f is a function from a to b f of x equal to suppose y এনেকে লিখি সবে জানা x belongs to a and y belongs to b and y is related to the x মানে নিজে লিখি জানা that's why y is a range element and x is a domain element in the same way after having the composition of these two functions এটা ফাংশন কম্পোজিট কৰিলে যেটো ফাংশন পাবা হেতু প্ৰকাশ কৰি যাব a পৰা c লৈ a will be the domain a actually কাৰ ডোমেইন আছে f for domain is first function domain আছে and what is c c to codomain কাৰ codomain second function to codomain what is the second function z কোনলি সেলেকশন আইল this is a representation only and under this function the image of x is z of f of x এই ডটটো উঠাই পিনি কাৰ্লি ব্ৰেকেট ইউজ কৰা আছে আৰু x টো কোৰ এলিমেন্ট মানে যে দিছে আমি কৈছো x টো ডোমেইন এলিমেন্ট হয় এখানে আমাৰ ডোম বিলংস টু এলিমেন্ট প্ৰত্যেকটো এলিমেন্টৰ কাৰণে ইমেজ পাবা তেতিয়া ফাংশন হ'ব ফাংশনৰ ডেফিনিশন হ'বলৈ হলে প্ৰত্যেকটো এলিমেন্টৰ ইমেজ লাগিব এটা সবাই জানা নাও okay let us consider some give that one now listen please so f of x is I think range f of x is a range element of what b b is the codomain set but f of x will represent range have you ever observed তোমালোকে observe কৰিছানে the range of f for যেটো range দিছানে f for under a function to যেটো range হয় এই ফাংশনৰ ৰেঞ্জ কোনটো x টা ডোমেইন এলিমেন্ট f of x ৰ ৰেঞ্জ lies domain of z z domain of মাইটো কাৰণে f for range to ইয়াৰ পৰা ইয়ালৈ গৈছে সেইটো ৰেঞ্জ হয় কাৰ ডোমেইন of মাই আছে z domain of ভিতৰত মাই আছে তাৰ মানে কম্পোজিশন অফ টু ফাংশন হ'বলৈ এটা ফাংশন কম্পোজ কৰিবলৈ হলে এটো হ'ব লাগে সবাই range of f means first function to range subset of কাৰ হ'ব লাগে domain of second function first function to range element the second function domain or the subset hoy then you can define z0 f তোমালোকে z0 f define কৰিব পাৰিবা ঠিক আছে তাৰ মানে first function to range to জলে যাব এখিনি z ভিতৰত মাই থাকিব লাগিব z domain ৰ ভিতৰত মাই থাকিব লাগিব এটা যদি মই কম what about f not z in case of f not z which one is the first function z is the first function which one is second f is second here symbolize to say whatever z is first f is second under what condition you can easily compose these two functions এই দুটা ফাংশন কেটা কম্পোজ কৰিব পাৰা তুমি কবা যে the range of first function z is to range z জলে যাব all those elements should be there in the domain of f for domain of ভিতৰত থাকিব লাগিব f for range element is one f for z বিলাক range element ini কোট মাই আছে z domain of ভিতৰত মাই থকা নাই জানো তেতিয়া তুমি ক'ব লাগিব যে এটা কম্পোজিট টু আইডেন্টিফাই কৰিব পাৰিবা that means range of the first function should be the subset of the domain of the second function then only then their composition will be defined ঠিক আছে এটা সব ঠিক লিখছো range of f for range to z domain of থাকিলে z not define হ'ব z range to f for domain of ভিতৰত মাই থাকিলে তেতিয়া তোমালোকে f not z define কৰিব পাৰিবা h not k means under what condition h not k will be defined if range of k is the first function range to range of k should be domain of subset of domain of h ইয়াৰ domain or subset হ'ব লাগে তেতিয়া তুমি কম্পোজিট ফাংশন ডিফাইন কৰিব পাৰিবা Okay, so one of the most important points, this one is the most one of the important point. So how can we conclude that when f is a function from a to b and g is a function from b to c, এখানে b number equal to c বুলি দিছো চোৱা। তাৰ মানে f ৰ ৰেঞ্জ টো g ডোমেইনৰ ভিতৰত সোমাই থাকিব লাগিব। Then their composition will be defined and to be defined from a to c. How can we define it? G not f of x equal to g of f of x for all x belongs to a. The definition is specifically written in your textbook, NCERT textbook. You can easily note it down from there. Okay, so now let us consider some another example. Suppose we can easily consider like that 1 2 3. Suppose 1 2 3 5 7 8. Okay, this one and 6 4. From the observation you have come to know that suppose I have written 9 here. What is the domain element for f? 1 2 3 are the domain elements. What are the range elements for f? 5 7 and 8. That means the range elements of f are lies in the domain of z. Z domain of my আছে guess what? But z is not a function here now. z to function নহয় obviously. কারণ কেলে z to মজলি এনেকে d এনেকে 9 টা যদি মই ইয়াত d z to function নহয় কেলে জানানে? Why z is not a function? Because to be a function all the elements should be related here particular element related কৰি থাকিব লাগে. That means now z is a function. What is the range? 5 7 8. What is codomain? 5 7 9 8. That means range is a subset of codomain. That's how we can easily compose it z naught to compose কৰিব পাৰো. ঠিক আছে? So in this way we have to define. Now let us try to find out z naught f. That means under the function z naught f we will have the image of for each and every element, particular element or an image now. Let us try to find it out. Z naught f of x. Our definition is there. What is x? X is the domain elements. Correct? X is the domain element. Actually, what is the name of the domain set? Think about what is the first function here? F. F or domain be your domain. Then what are the possibilities of x? The value of x may be 1, maybe 2, and maybe 3. So we are going to find out the value of each and every element. We are not going to find out the value of 5, 7, and 8 because x is a domain element. তার মানে এই ফাংশনটো ডোমেইনৰ পৰা আহিব x ৰ ভ্যালুখিনি। এই ফাংশনটো ডোমেইন কি হয়? তুমি কবা f ৰ ডোমেইনটো তাৰ ডোমেইন হ'ব because f is the first function. That is what are the possibilities of x? f ৰ ডোমেইনটো কি আছে? a আছে তেনে x ৰ ভ্যালু 1 হ'ব পাৰে 2 হ'ব পাৰে 3 হ'ব পাৰে। That means we are going to find the value of 1 first. Okay, correct. Now according to definition g naught f of x মানে কিমান দেখিছা? g of f of x. So it will be g of f of 1. Correct? So in place of x I have written 1. So here is g of f of 1 হৈছে। Now what is the meaning of this one? f of 1 মানে image of 1 under f. f for under 1 ৰ image কিমান দেখিছা? f for under 1 ৰ image 8 নহয় নে? কেলে 1 ৰ image 8 দেখাইছে। তাৰ মানে f of 1 is equal to কিমান হৈ আছে? 8. Correct? f of 1 is equal to 8. কেনে গম পালা? 1 ৰ image 8 হৈ আছে। Now g of 8 means what? Image of 8 under z. z under 8 or image কিমান দেখিছা? z under 8 is 4. তেতিয়া হলে এই কম্পোজিট ফাংশন under 1 or image কিমান পালা? 4 নহয় জানো? 1 or image 8, 8 or image 4, then over 1 or image 4 হৈ আছে। Correct? Remember, function always represents a collection of ordered pair. Function is a ordered pair or collection of represent করে। কেনে দেখিছা? এই ফাংশন under 1,8 পাইছা। Similarly কি পাইছা? 2,7 পাইছা। 3,59 whatever. Collection of ordered pair নহয় জানো? Function means collection of ordered pair. এইবিলাক domain element and these are our range elements. These are the range elements. Correct? So in the same way, another function, composite function also. Composite যদিও পরিস্থিতি দিয়ে একটা ফাংশনই হয় তাহলে then also it is a collection of ordered pair. You can ordered pair collection হবে। First pair কি বানাইছে? 1 or image কি বানাইছে? 8 4 correct so 1 2 4 আইছে। যেনেকে 1 or image কি বানাইছে ইয়াতে f for under 1 image 8 আছে লাইন। এই composite to under 1 image কি পাইছা? 4. Similarly, let us try to find the value of কাৰ value লব পাৰিম এতিয়া 1 ৰ পালো g naught f for under কাৰ value লব this is 2 আহিব what is the image of 2 g of f of 2 correct what is the image of 2 under f f for under 2 image কিমান দেখাইছে 7 মানে g of 7 ভালকে চাইছা না মই f of 2 জায়গাত এক্স্যাক্টলি 7 বহাইছো অকল 2 জায়গাত নহয় মানে f of 2 মানে 2 image কাৰ under f for under 7 বহাইছো and g of 7 means image of 7 under z. What is it? 4. Then what is the new ordered pair? 2, 4. Correct? The next way, in this way we have to find out the value of 3. It will become 3. F of 3 means 5, and g of 5 means what? G of 5. G of 5 is equal to 6. Correct? Then another pair will be 3, 6. Here also we can set the 1 on as well as the onto condition also. Here also we can say f. That means for any function you can say 1 on and onto condition. Any function you can say. Is it 1 on? 1 on means distinct domain elements should have distinct images. Element bilak beleg beleg kore image bilak beleg beleg kore. But so 1 or image of 4 dekhaise, 2 image of 4 dekhaise. Is it 1 on? No, this one is many one function. Is it onto? Onto means what? Codomain should be equal to range, or you can say range is equal to codomain. For a composite function, what is codomain? C is the codomain. What is range? It will be the range here. 4 and 6. These are the range elements. What are the codomain elements? 4 and 6. Are they equal? Yes. Therefore, the function is equal. তোমালোকে যিকোনো ফাংশন দিলে তাৰ ওৱান অফ সেট কৰাৰ পসিবিলিটি থাকে। এটো কম্পোজিট ইকুয়াল বা সিম্পল ফাংশন ইকুয়াল। জেনারেল ফাংশনস আর কালেকশন অফ অর্ডার পেয়ার, কম্পোজিশন অলসো দেন বা কালেকশন অফ অর্ডার পেয়ার। আমি সাবমিট কৰিব পাৰিম ডোমেইন এলিমেন্ট কোনটা 1 2 3। রেঞ্জ এলিমেন্টস 4 6। কোডোমেইন ডাইরেক্টলি কবা C হয়। কারণ ফাংশনটো এ পৰা C লৈ গৈছে, C টো ডাইরেক্টলি কোডোমেইন কবা। রেঞ্জ related elements only of the second set are range. What is the range set? 4, 6. What is the codomain? 4, 6. Are they equal? Yes. Then function onto hobole hole range equal to codomain hobole. So in this way we can easily calculate all those things. Now we are going to this is the definition already we have got it. So now we are going to discuss the composition of two functions. How can you find out the composition of, suppose f is a function from real number to real number. Real number. Suppose f of x is equal to x is given to you. Correct? And okay. And z is a function from again real number to real number. This is defined as z of x is equal to x squared. Okay. Listen please. Now we have to define suppose z naught f and f naught z. First of all, we have to set the conditions. Okay. To define, suppose let us consider this one is x minus 1. In this way, let us consider this one x minus 1. Okay. Now suppose if you want to find out g naught f, which one is the first function? F is the first function and z is the second function. To define z naught f, range of f should be subset of domain of z. F or raised to z domain or subset of like. What is the range of f? F or raised to kiman dekhisa? Any real number? F or x to real number. Multiples of 3. Era kotha kotha bole kami kobo paru. ঠিক আছে এটা কথাটো হল এতিয়া আমি সারা দেখি যদি মই তার রেঞ্জ টু f or to range আছে then obviously it is a subset of the domain of z. Z domain or subset হয় correct. So in this way we can think about any real number. That means we can say that range is equal to real number. Correct? Range is equal to real number. So that's why we have to think about that as the range of f is the subset of the domain of z. F or to range to z domain or subset hoye ase. What is the domain? Real number. Obviously it's a subset. Real number is a subset of real number always. That's how we can define z naught f. Then what is the domain of this function? Domain of the first function f is the domain of their composite. Teta hole ami z naught f of x uliam z naught f of x. Correct? Z naught f of x means g of f of x. From the definition only. How many elements are there? X is an element of the domain set. Kuntu domain of car domain? F or domain. F or domain ki hoy real number. How many elements are there in the real number set? Infinite. Particular element ami tumi নিজে লিখব পারো। এখানে আমি জেনারেলাইজ করেছি। Z naught f of x equal to z of f of x. F of x মানে কিমান দিয়া আছে? F of x মানে it is given 5 6. Correct? So that means suppose z of p, let us consider where p is 5 6 suppose. এটা মই কনসিডার কৰি আছো এটা বুজিবলৈ ভাল হ'ব। So g of x minus x minus 1. Then this one is just like a g of x, am I correct? But in place of x, what is there? G of p. Most x or place of actually belek kiba karam ohar kane moi p will consider korisu. So g of x minus jodi x minus 1 hoy, then g of p mane kiman hobo? Then g of p will be p minus 1. It is what? G of p means p minus 1. X minus jodi x minus 1 hoy, then p mane p minus 1 hobo. Correct? So that's why g of p mane p minus 1. What is p you have written here? Because p is equal to 36 already you have considered. Okay, in this way we can find out g naught f. So that means you have got g naught f of x equal to what you have got? 36 minus 1. Here you have got. Okay, let us try to find out f naught g. F naught g of x. F naught g of x means f of g of x. From the definition only. F naught g of x means you have to remove dot, then you have to start it with bracket. F g of x means what? It is already written x minus 1. So f of x in place of x, one other term is written x minus 1. It will be complicated hoy. I single x থাকিব লাগিছিল, তেৰেটা বহি আছে নহয় নে? সেইকাৰণে মই ইয়াক কি বুলি কনসিডাৰ কৰিলাম? p equal to x minus 1 কনসিডাৰ কৰিছো। তাৰমানে মোৰ কি হৈ থাকিলে? f of p লিখা হৈ থাকিলে। If you want, then you can use any symbol to represent it. তোমালোকে যিকোনো symbolize কৰি ল'ব পাৰা, যিকোনো symbol দ্বাৰা। So it is just like as f of x লিখা মনে নাই বাৰু? তেলে f of p লিখা হৈছে। f of p is just like as f of x. f of x equal to 36. Therefore f of p is equal to 3p. So we will have 3p. What is the value of 3? What is the value of p? X minus 1. This one is nothing but 36 minus 3. That means for f naught g, we have got 36 minus 3. For g naught f, we have got 36 minus 1. Are they equal? No. That means f naught g is not equal to g naught f. They are not equal in general. F naught g is not equal to g naught f. In this way, we have to say f naught g as well as g naught f, and we can find out they are equal or not. Somewhere it may equal, but in general they are not equal. F naught g is not equal to g naught f. In this way, and always remember that whenever you will get any complicated term in place of x, you have to replace it by any variable. Okay, you can easily replace it by variable. Then it will be simpler for you to understand the concept. So this is nothing but just like as f of x, and put the value of x here and try to simplify. You will get your conclusion. So in this way, we can really find out the composition of any two functions. So the main condition is that whenever we have to find out a composition of two functions, range of the first function should be domain of the second. Here also, range of z should be domain of f. Then only f of g should be defined. That means we can find out their composition. So thank you so much for watching the video. I think you can easily attempt finding the composition of two functions. Okay, thank you so much.